Hello, Internet. How are you? I wasn't ready. Am I ever? Hi, Victoria Wilder, author of Lullaby of the Lilith, a gothic fantasy or urban fantasy, whichever you want to call it, all about Lilith. Check it out because that is what we're going to be talking about tonight. In addition to Lullaby of the Lilith, I've also written this book called Core Songs of My Soul, which is a poetry book. Hold on. Thank you. This is a poetry book. It's a collection of poems that I have written over the last decade or so since I was around, well, actually longer. I've been writing poems since I was a kid, and some of these I wrote in early high school or middle school even. Don't worry, I didn't use all of my high school poetry. Some of it is very new. Some of it I wrote specifically for this book. Some of it, most of it was written during certain times in my life when I was going through certain experiences. So if you guys want me to talk about this again, I will. I'll also link one of my videos in the description when this is up, in which I discuss this book, but I also wrote this. And we've got Voices of Christmas. I know it's January, but it is never too late to enjoy some nice spooky Christmas stories. And I do mean spooky. At least one of them is a little spooky. The other two are fantasy. And one is more of a darker fantasy. Well, they're both dark, but one is more of like, I don't know how to explain it. You got to read it. You got to try them out. They're really, really good. There's one story in particular. I didn't write it, but it is just amazing. And I really want it to be a whole book. So like that. Check it out, guys. And sorry if you see cat hair flying up. That is just the state of my life, is cat hair. Anywho, welcome to my home. Today we are going to be talking about the sequel to Lullaby of the Lilith, because I am not currently writing today. I will be starting the drafting of the sequel on Saturday. I've got it in my calendar and like word counts per day that I'm trying to stick to, kind of like a mini NaNoWriMo, but longer because I'm going into mid-March, hopefully. We'll see. But I am here to talk about that because I'm not writing, and I did finish plotting the book a couple of days ago on the 27th. So I just, wow. Yeah, I just finished plotting Scourge of the Lilith, and you guys, please feel free to ask me questions in the chat box, but until then, I will just ramble on as your girl does, and maybe see how long we can talk before I get super hungry. So, yeah, Lullaby of the Lilith, if you don't know, is my debut novel. If you don't know, why are you here? But it's my debut novel. It is the first book I've ever finished, ever completed. It's not the first book I tried to write, but it's the first book I've ever completed. And I am so very proud of it. Like, yes, it is a debut novel, so I'm not expecting it to be my best novel, but as it stands, it is one of my best works ever. I've been writing since I was a child, since I learned how to write. I've probably been writing for longer than I could speak. I've definitely been reading for longer than I can speak, so I know stories, and I personally had to write a book that I would enjoy, and I love it. It's so heavy too. Oh my god. And I love this book. I love it on so many different levels. I love it on the physical level because it's heavy and it's thick, and it loves me a thick book. Love me that thick spine. And it's really pretty. I love the design. It has made me a little bit nervous about the series because I do want the designs to be similar but different. And the idea that I have for the Scourge cover is complicated. We'll see what happens. I want to finish the first draft first before I really, really solidify a cover. And yeah, I'm just very proud of this book. But Lullaby of the Lilith, I will read the description here so that you can understand a little bit about what it's about. And there's also going to be a link in the description after this video is up. Okay? So it starts with a quote. I don't remember who I am. All I know is that I'm his, and nothing else matters. But he's got secrets, and something within me burns to know the truth. How much am I willing to sacrifice to get it? So there's a quote that's not actually in the book, but it is a character's mindset. And then the description is, and you guys, let me know if you like it or hate it. I don't know how the description works for people. No one's told me it doesn't work. I've workshopped it like 100 billion times, and no one seems to hate it so far, but let me know what you think. For centuries, gods have walked the earth besides humans. Now, a young woman awakens to find she's one of them. Full grown and with no memory of a life before now, Rio is content to be counted among the world's elite and follow the path her father Kyan has laid for her. That is, she's happy until her memories start to return, accompanied by increasingly dangerous nightmares. Soon, more than nightmares plague her. A mysterious woman Kyan knew long ago has returned, and she's determined to destroy everything he loves. Unfortunately for Rio, that includes her. Scores will be settled, blood will flow, and a family will be tested. So that is my blurb. And honestly, I really like it. Like, it feels powerful. It feels good. It tells you all the important stuff that you need to know. There's a young woman named Rio. Her father has laid out a plan for her, and then she starts getting memories that kind of throw a wrench in those plans. And another wrench is thrown by her father, someone her father knew a long time ago, who wants to destroy his life and destroy his family. And I think that tells you quite a lot about what the story is about, but it doesn't give you any of the details. It doesn't tell you who these characters are. It doesn't tell you who else is in the family. It doesn't tell you how this woman is going to be destroying everything. So it leaves a lot to discover when you actually read the book. And I love that. I think I'm proud. I don't know. I think I did a good job. I'm very, very proud. And I know there are a lot of people out there who don't want you to be proud of yourself, who don't want you to compliment yourself or say that you did something good, and they want you to wait for someone else to validate you. But I refuse to allow that. I've never been okay with that. I've always been like, if I like something about myself, then why do I need someone else to tell me that's okay? And that's how I feel. I love this book. So regardless of whether someone else loves it, I love it. I think I did a great job. I dropped it. It's okay. I think I did a really, really good job with this book. That book I started in 2011. It was based off of a dream I had. I've said this before, and it evolved into not only one book, but a whole series. And the series itself is not exactly what I'd thought about when I first started this book. In fact, I didn't think it was going to be a series. I had every intention of making it a standalone. And it didn't become a series until well after I think I started the first draft. And that was about 6 years into the process already. So I didn't even plan on this being a series at all. It just kind of made sense after I was writing this book and after I just researched all the publishing information, like what you're supposed to be doing, what are some of the best things to do to make a living with writing? And that is one of my goals, is to make a living. I know that's not everyone's goal. A lot of people want to see their books on shelves. They want to write it and have it so that they can share it with their family. And that is one very, very wonderful goal. And that is one of the things that I love about writing books, is that I can get them on shelves. I can get them into libraries. That's why I publish wide and I'm not Amazon exclusive with my novel. And I won't be with this series at all, but maybe with another novel, I'll be Amazon exclusive. That's not important. Anyway, this book took such a long time, and now I'm on the second book, and it's hard. It's hard. Obviously it's going to be hard. It's always hard, but I'm trying to do this at like record speed compared to this book, and even compared to Diva. Like, Diva took about 2 years to complete from initial outline conception idea, like that brainstorm that I had that one day in November, to having the first draft done. That took 2 years, and it's still just in first draft stages because I put it aside to work on Scourge. So this is something that will really change the game. If I am able to write this book in the time that I am planning to be able to write this book and finish it and publish it, then that means I can do that every year. And that's really my goal, is to have at least one novel come out a year and have one other book come out a year, so that I'm publishing about 2 books a year, one a novel, one a nonfiction, or some other thing like maybe poetry or another project that I'm working on. And have that be consistent, have that be a steady thing that I do, because I do want this to be a career. Like I was saying, I want this to Oh, that's what I was saying. I totally forgot. So yeah, some people do want to get their books on shelves, and I do, but I also want to make a living. And so 2 books a year is probably the best way for me to do that, because I don't see myself being able to write 3 or 4 more books a year. I just don't see that as a thing for me. And I'm also very, very big on relaxing, like just taking time for myself, chilling, enjoying myself, like reading, enjoying good food, watching good shows, good movies. I want to enjoy my life and enjoy my time and feel like I am free, feel like I'm comfortable, feel like, you know, I'm stable and safe, and I can, like, I don't have to be on someone else's schedule. I don't have to be on someone else's dime. You know, I don't have to hope for someone else to give me money. I do the work that I do. I put it out there and I make money from that. You know, I'm still working hard. I'm still probably working harder as a writer than I've ever done with any of my day jobs, just because many of my day jobs, I was writing Lullaby the Lilith on my lunch break. I was brainstorming while I was on the job. If I had quiet moments, I would pull out a little notebook or pull out my phone and like work on my book. So I've actually spent more time writing and working on writing than I have like spent energy towards a day job. But the day jobs are what has made me money, but at the same time they haven't made me that much. Like I made a livable wage with 2 jobs over the last like 6 years since moving to New York. I've been able to make livable wages, but that's with consistently having more than 1 job. And I just feel like that's not the healthiest way for me to live. I know me, and I'm not trying to speak for everybody else. I'm not trying to tell other people how to live. But I know that I have a strong tendency to quit things if I burn out too fast, or like push myself too hard and then burn out and then not be able to complete things. And I remember one day just like kind of crying, because I cry all the time. But I remember one day feeling like I'm going to die having never completed anything. I'm going to die having never finished a thing and having been on this weird cycle of life. And I just, I didn't want that. And so I like really committed to finishing Lullaby, and I'm so proud that I did. And now the series is another thing to continue. And finishing Lullaby wasn't like, yes, I completed something, but it started something new. You know what I mean? Like it just started this new journey. And I know I said I was going to talk about plotting, and I'm still trying to. It's just like the whole process is interesting. The whole process is strange. And now where I am with this book, Scourge of the Lilith, I'm looking at it from all of those angles. I'm looking at it from how long I took to write this book, how long I took to write Diva. I'm looking at it from the process of each of those books. And a large part of my process with Lullaby was working day jobs. And I just kind of don't think that's something that I need to do. Not because I'm down on day jobs, just because I'm doing work. And I'm not just doing writing books. I'm also doing other things. And I'm trying to touch the world in some positive way. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's just, I have to believe that that's going to work out in my favor, because it has so far. It's been working out really well. I'm very proud of the work that I've put out so far. My books, at least one of my books, is consistently making a little bit of money. It's not a ton of money. I'm not anywhere out of, like, none of my books make more than $20 a month. So I'll say it that way. This book, if I sell 1 book a month, then it will do that. But so far, it's sold less than that. It's like certain months, ever since I published it, there would be months where I sell like 2 or 3 books, but then there would be months where I don't sell any. So this book is a little bit different. But yeah, I just want to write. So I am trying to get books done, at least 2 a year. That's like my point, is like I'm trying to get books done much faster than I did with Lullaby. And Scourge is my first attempt at that. And it is hard, y'all. It is so tough. And it's really interesting, because I'm like looking at this book, and I don't know, like there's so much happening, and there's so much that I didn't even know had to happen, and there's so much that I don't know if it has to happen. I don't know if it makes sense. I'm still trying to figure out or find the best balance between fun and action oriented and exciting, and like, event by event, like trying to find something between that and a story that touches on important issues, or not issues, but philosophies or ideas or thoughts, you know what I mean? So not necessarily like the issue of dysfunction in a Black family, but like the issue of dealing with dysfunction in your own personal family. You know what I mean? That's kind of what Lullaby was about. It was about a very dysfunctional family. And a lot of my own personal experiences went into Lullaby. Whereas with Scourge, it's a whole new ballgame. Like they're in a different place. They are in a different kind of zone. The mindset for me and my characters has shifted drastically since the beginning of Lullaby of the Lilith. Like Lullaby of the Lilith, the characters go through this, the main character specifically, especially, but all of them, I think, go through this kind of big shift. And this shift is going to affect everything else that happens in the series. The shift is going to affect all the characters, and there is just so much there that I want to show, but I don't know if it needs to be shown. And then there's like the questions of like love and romance and healthy relationships. There's questions of loyalty and mental health, even like mental stability. There's questions of trust. There's always questions of trust in both of these books, in who to be loyal to, who do you believe in, who do you rely on, and how do you face the darkness that's inside of yourself, right? And so those are the questions that I want to address, but I don't know if the book, as it's outlined yet, does that. Hopefully I figure that out, because a lot of that is still me just figuring out as I go. So those are things that are hard to plot. And those are actually things that I tend to plot first, Those are the things I tend to write down first, where it's like, okay, so this needs to happen, but this is the underlying emotion, and this is what's going on here, and these are the mindsets here, and this is the shift here. And that's what I ended up doing with this. I had the first couple of scenes, the first 10 chapters outlined in bullet points, and then the rest was just like, okay, this needs to happen, they feel this, this is the experiences they're going through. And so it was really, really hard for me to plot this whole book, because I kept when I would go back and look at my bullet outline, or my itemized outline, or whatever you want to call it, it was like this is their emotional experience, but I don't know what's actually happening that leads them there. And I don't know what's happening that leads them to this other place that they have to get to. So there was a lot of issue. There was a lot of, I have no idea what's going on. And I would write myself into a place where it's like, all right, well, how are my characters going to get out of this? And it was actually really, really fun. It's hard, yeah, but it was really, really fun, because it was like, I would write a scene. Let's see if I can give you guys a scene that isn't too much of a spoiler, or any kind of spoiler. Hello, sirens. Okay, so I don't want to give a spoiler, but there was a scene where I was trying to figure out how to get my character from one situation into another situation, but I had no idea what the other situation was. I was just like, this situation there has to be a situation in the middle to get them to third situation, right? So, but I had first situation and third situation, but I was like, I don't know how to get them here. So they ended up on a boat and in another country, and the third situation played out fine in that other country. Okay, so it was just how did they end up on a boat? Now what do I do? And it was like, okay, so now they're in this country. Now what do they do? Okay, so now we're here, but it's too close to a certain other thing, and I don't want it to be that close, so I need something else. Oh, this thing could happen. They lost this thing, and now they have to go look for it, and they can't go on to the next step until they do that now. And so there's a lot of figuring out just where they're going and globetrotting, but it was all kind of based on these small bullet points of outlining. And that's usually how I start. I'll start with small, I'll use, here you go. I'll use these things, Post-it notes or index cards. And I would use those, and I would just kind of write little events oh, I hope you didn't see that. That's probably a spoiler. Like this one. This one is a little bit of a spoiler, but you're not going to remember it, and also it's not huge. R and M meet Lucinda Barlow. So that's just an event. Characters have to meet certain characters so that the story can go on. So it's okay, these characters have to meet. Okay, these characters have to meet. Okay, these characters have to meet, right? So there's a lot of that. And then there's events that are smaller. like things that people agree to. There are there's a lot of like meeting. So a lot of my initial outline for this book was like, okay, we meet this character, we meet this character, we meet this character, and like that how they meet those characters is like something I have to figure out in the big plotting. But in the bullet points, it's just like, okay, this has to happen, this has to happen. These are the big things that have to happen so that the ending that I have in mind can happen, basically. And then I have to figure out the steps from there. So after I do the I don't want to call it bullet points because that's something I also do later. But it's like an itemized general postcard, post-it note outline. I will take that and then I will expand it. So that's kind of what I'm doing, what I did here with Scourge. I wish I could show you my screen. I don't know if that's a thing that can be done. Yo, what's plotting? Where's your cat? Neo Nova? Black. Black indeed. That is who I am. My cat is, you ask a good question, my friend. I don't know. She's somewhere. She's in this house. She's precious. I will not show you my spleen. Not today. Maybe next time. I do my best to keep my organs inside during the night because that is when the bats are out. So I try to protect myself. I did say screen. But plotting, yeah, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Plotting is basically putting my book together, figuring it out. So like I said, I do the little notebook, note card thing. Why can't I ever say the real name for these things? Post-it cards. I do the post-it card thing. And then I expand it into like paragraphs or like sections. What I did this time, and I haven't done this before, but I'm using Scrivener, and I was using Scrivener before, but I haven't used it in this form. I used the post or the index card function on Scrivener to plot out each specific scene. And that has helped me a lot. I mean, I do that anyway, where I plot out the scenes, but I usually do it in just one long document. And doing it, being able to break it apart has really helped me out because I was able to say, okay, so in this scene, the beginning, middle, and end are this, and then I can expand on it in the notes and then have just like this whole kind of scene written out. So that's really helpful. And then once I finish, okay. Once I finish the paragraph plotting, I will usually start drafting, and then as I'm drafting, the outline will change and alter as I go. And then later, what I do is I go back and I look at the bullet points and I write, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. I usually do that after the first draft, or I did that after the first draft with Lullaby of the Lullaby. I haven't gotten to that stage with Diva yet, but it's like, okay, bullet points, like every single point of action that is happening is what I put in that outline. And why do I do that? I don't know, because it's not like I really ever go back and look at it. I mean, I do sometimes, but it's rare. But that's generally what I do. And then I draft. And then after the first draft and after that bullet point outline, which helps me write the second draft, which is almost like a rewriting of the whole book, Buff Aviation. Hello, Buff. How's it going? Hi. But I go in and I rewrite the book, basically, and then I rewrite it again, then again, then I have a book. So that's basically my plotting process in the small form. In large form, it's a whole lot of thinking. You guys, I love you all. You're here, and we are going to probably actually end this video in about 7 minutes or so. If I don't, ramble forever, we'll see. Do you want me to stay? I'll stay if you want me to. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I do the post-it notes, I do the expand it, I do like a post-it notes, a mini bullet, and then expand it, and then I do another bullet after the first draft, and that's generally my plotting process. So now I'm into the point of first drafting Scourge of the Lullaby. And you guys, hold up, are we writing a book? I'm writing a book. It's true. Hey, puppy paws. I love puppies. I want you to know that all dogs are best dog, okay? And I don't care if anyone tells you you got a bad breed. That's a bad breed of human, right? All dogs are best dogs. You want to see? Brooklyn, do you want to see my boo? I'm going to let you see my boo. Brooklyn, hi. Hi, you have fans. Come here. Training cats is not a thing. I mean, she'll shake your hands. She will shake your hands and she'll do some tricks, but for the most part, she does what she wants because she's a bull. Come here. Oh, hi. So this is Brooklyn. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Say hi. I'm a Brooklyn. Brooklyn does not like being on any human's laps. She says, F that. Bullocks. Bollocks. Actually, I'm also more of a dog guy. I mean, well, you know. I mean, I love cats. I love them so much. Hi, BB. I'm an animal person. Let's just put it like that. I actually am not more of an anything. I am an all animal person. I haven't yet met an animal I did not like. I haven't yet met an animal that didn't like me unless the owner was really mean. You know what I mean? Like where pets are a little bit angry or aggressive because their owner is a little angry or aggressive. That's like the only time I've met animals that weren't necessarily nice to me, because I can't even say they didn't like me, because eventually most of them warm up to me. Isn't she? Oh, hi. No one wants to see your butt. Don't show your butt to the camera. Hi. Is that a purr? Oh, did we knock down all the books? We did. She's so skittish. She's such a scaredy cat. I love my boo. It's so funny. Before I did this video, we got a call from the doorman downstairs, and they were like, do you have a cat? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, is she inside? And I was like, yeah. Oh, thank God. Apparently there was a cat like roaming around in the hall out there that was a gray cat. And so they thought it was her, because she also will run out there and roam around for a few minutes. But not today, guys. It was not her today. Except spiders. F those guys. I actually like spiders. I mean, I don't hate them. I don't love them. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to play with spiders, but I respect them as a being because they keep the mosquitoes away, and I hate mosquitoes. Although insects and arachnids and all that stuff, they're not technically animals. They're not in the animal kingdom, but they are very interesting and very cool. I do like a lot of insects. I know it's weird and it's gross, but I mean, if you read the things I write, you'll know that I am weird and I am gross. I'm sorry. But I do think spiders are really cool, especially tarantulas. I have a friend who has a tarantula. She has a pet tarantula, and he seems cool. I've never actually met him in person, because usually when I'm around, I don't go into the room where he is in, because it's her private room, and I don't really go there that often, so I haven't had that many chances to meet him, but he seems chill. They're aliens. They might be aliens, but I also think cats are aliens. Part of me is pretty sure, and definitely inspired by Futurama, but pretty sure cats came here to take over the world from another planet, and that's fine. I have already given in to my feline overlord. She can have anything she wants, and I am not ashamed. I will run into a burning building for my cat, and not for a person. I'm sorry. You got right, Bull? Will I save your life? Can I save your life? Did you check in here? Did you check in here? In the apartment? I don't know. She's cute. She's looking for treats now. I only gave her 3 because I already gave her a bunch earlier today, and she's not supposed to have that many. My name is Victoria A. Wilder. Victoria A. Wilder. And I'll link some stuff in the description after this video is fully uploaded, and that way you guys can find all my sites and all my pages, and I'll also send you my own website right now in case you're interested. I just started doing book reviews on my website because I was doing something different before. And people seem to like that. So I should have been doing that for a long time. And my book reviews aren't all the time because I'm not the fastest reader in the world. But I try to be honest, and I try to be mostly nice. But specifically honest, I am honest to a fault, to the point that, like, if me telling you something about me is going to make you hate me or, like, be mad at me, but you asked, then I'm not going to lie just to make it easier. So I'm sorry if I've reviewed someone's book and it made them mad, is my point. Welcome. Are you a writer too? MTH? Mother 666? Is it Mother Mothra? Cool. Welcome to the community. Hello. I love new people. I love doing these live videos. Usually we're doing write-ins, which is, if you haven't seen those before, I'll talk for a couple of minutes and then I will be quiet and write on my website, or on my website, girl. I will write whatever I'm working on, whatever project I'm working on, I'll write in that. Next week, I'll be in the process of drafting Scourge, so we will be doing a write-in on the 5th, and then I probably won't be here so late on the 12th. I'll probably do an earlier write-in on the 12th because that night I have plans. But generally we do write-ins. Generally we write stuff. We talk about writing stuff. I ramble, which is what I do all the time. So welcome. I hope you like it. I hope I haven't scared you off. There are also lots of other cool writers who do write-ins and who do live videos, and the YouTube community, if you're joining it, is amazing. Welcome. You'll feel great. I hope, I believe, I'm sure. You wish? Well, you can be. All you have to do is write. I mean, like, I guess decide what you want to write, like decide whether you want to make it something that you sell, whether it's something that you're just writing for yourself, whether it's, I mean, all writing should start for yourself, but if you decide down the line that you want to do something with it, then you can decide that, like, but honestly, writing is just writing. Like, you just put some words. I have been writing since I was like 4. Like, I have been reading and writing for longer than I can remember. I read and write better than I speak. Actually, I lose the ability to remember words very easily when I'm speaking, and I don't know what that is, but it's not a brain thing. It's just always, or it's a brain thing, but it's not like an illness. It's just always been there. So I just don't, like, my brain just kind of clouds up when I'm speaking. But when I'm writing, it's all very clear. It's all very easy. It all flows out. And most of my writing, the majority of my writing life, I wrote for myself. And that is how I ended up here. So, like, it was just like I wrote one book for myself. I wrote a bunch of poems for myself. And then one day, about 6 years into the process of this, I was like, oh, I really want to make this a career. I really want to be a writer. I want to be an author. I want to live that life. That is the only thing that's ever really stuck with me, is my writing. It's the only, I've tried so many things. I've gone through so many lives. Hi, Bruno Fernandez. Please read my book. You can find it on that website link that I gave you. You can also find it on Amazon. You can find it on Ingram. You can find it on Barnes & Noble's website. You can find it on Apple Books, Kobo, Scribd, I think. It's on a lot. It's in a lot of places. So if you go to my website, you can find a link that links you to all the places where it's for sale. Lullaby of the Lilith is my novel. But what was I saying? Yeah, like, I wrote for myself. Most of this was just, I had to get it out. I had to get this story out. I had to get these poems out. I had to write it. And that's just what stuck with me. I've tried so many different things. I've been barista, I've been dominatrix, I've been actress, I've been singer, I've been model, I have been home caregiver, I have been nanny, okay? That might be all. But yeah, like, I've had quite a few different jobs, and I've pursued acting as like a career because I thought that was what I wanted to do. And when I was in college, a freshman, when I was at university, I was going for biochemistry because I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. And so, like, I believe that if you just kind of try the things that you want to try, you don't feel bad if it doesn't work out. I wanted to be a doctor from the time I was like 3 years old until I was 18. That's 15 years of me wanting to be a doctor. And then I go to college, I'm studying biochemistry, and I'm like, nah, this ain't it. It's not for me. So then I went into art, and then I went into acting, and now I'm a writer. And you know what? This is the most true I've ever felt. This is the most me I've ever felt. This is the most, like, right thing for me, and the right thing. It's correct. It's right for me. It's perfect for me. I love writing, and I love doing the work of a self-publisher. I like working on my own projects and putting my passion into things that are important to me, and believing that that's going to bring me financial stability as I go. The more I put out, the more I do. But really, if I hadn't, like, tried all those other things, I don't know where I'd be. Like, I don't know if I'd have as much me if I hadn't gone through these stages of pursuing other goals, pursuing other dreams, of wanting other things and hoping for other things. And those things, like, I went to acting school for about a year. And before that, I'd been performing since high school, but like actually pursuing it as a career, it was really easy, really quick for me to figure out, like with college and like with that, it was really easy for me to say, this is actually not for me. And yeah, I've invested a lot. I've invested time. I moved to another state to pursue this, but it's not for me. So I'm gonna try something else. And that's what I did. And I'm so happy I did. I recommend people try things. Yes, Dominatrix. When I left school, I did start my further education in English language and literature, but I dropped out. Peer pressure, cars, and girls seemed a wiser choice back then. I blame marijuana. I would not blame marijuana, because in the opposite way, I would say marijuana is a big reason why this book is done. Like, it helped me focus so much. Like, I would just zone in and do the work, and like that was it. So I guess it affects everybody differently. But you know what? You tried things. Maybe you did drop out, but how do you feel now? Like, do you think that you could go back? Because you can if you want to, and you don't have to. You can do anything, really. Bruno Fernandez is a gigolo. Well, good for you. That's a cool job. Hey, DL. Oh, hey, long time no see. It's been a while. Greetings, everybody. Same. It does help me get my creative juices going. Sometimes it just makes me like extra sleepy, or if I like focus on the wrong thing, like I don't have anything set up in advance, then I'll start focusing on the wrong thing, and then the next thing you know, I've spent an hour like reading about I don't know, cuttlefish. So like, who knows? Like, it's easy to get distracted. Yes, I was a dominatrix. I was a dominatrix for well, for about 6 months the first time. No, about a year the first time, and about 6 months the second time. No, 3 months the second time. Girl, was it 3 months? Yeah, I started in January, and I left that place in March. And that was when I first moved to New York. So that was like 2013 or 2014. In January, I was working as a dominatrix in this place in Manhattan. And then I left a few months later because it just wasn't really working for me. But in Chicago, before that, I worked for almost a year, like 6 months to a year. It's kind of hazy. Like, it was in a dungeon. It was dark all the time. Like, the kind of dark that I like, you know what I mean? Like, no windows, and the windows that were there were probably blocked out, so I didn't really see them. There were velvets everywhere, and like, you know, play toys, and like platforms where you can tie people to and like have fun with. And so like, it was dark a lot, and I was there like 5 days a week. And so time started to kind of blend for me. I slept there a lot. I hung out there a lot. I did homework there. It was a good time for the most part. There was some backstabbing and, you know, some drama, some workplace drama, but we had parties like every other week. We had parties like every Friday. We had bar events where we would take all the ladies would go to a bar, and we'd demonstrate our skills there. So it's fun. I did learn a lot. Messages redacted. I don't know what was redacted. It is not too late to be a 33-year-old student. Are you kidding? You can be a student at any time. When I was in college, after I left the University of Illinois, when I was like, okay, biochemistry, not for me, I went to a community college. So I was studying liberal arts there, and with a focus on fine arts at the time. So I was doing like painting, photography, all that fun stuff, and literature. And so many of my classmates were like in their 50s or 60s, and it was like, they're starting over, and that is totally fine. You're better starting now than you are at 50. You're better starting now than you are, you know, even at 40, when you have like other things established in your life. 30 is the new 20. You know what I mean? 30 is, I feel young anyway. I feel like a baby most of the time. All of my life I have a little sister who's taller than me and who protects me, or used to stand up for me. And like, we had a very close relationship until other drama. But like, she was my baby sister, but she would always kind of act like I was the baby sister, because I'm just a baby. And like, even now at 30, I don't feel too old for anything. In fact, I feel like I'm just now starting to be ready to start adulting. You know what I mean? Why are all your messages redacted, Bruno? Where'd you go? All right. Well, sorry. Oh, um, yeah, that is a factor, being able to afford it. Like when I went to university, I was very lucky. I went with grants and scholarships, and I had to take very small loans, which are almost pretty much completely paid off, because most of the $60,000 for that year was scholarships and grants because of how I did in high school and how I was pretty much my entire academic. Like I said, I was on an academic course towards neuroscience, towards being a doctor. So from pretty much first grade until that first year of college, I was a great student, so I did get a lot of scholarships. But then I had to take out some loans for my acting school, which I'm still kind of dealing with. So yeah, it is a struggle. It is a huge struggle. And oh, I just discovered this thing the other day. I actually shared it with my niece. It's called onlinedegree.com, and it's free. It's totally free. They have like 10 courses, but you can take any of those courses that you want, and whenever you decide you want to go to college, you can transfer those credits. Obviously, you'll have to talk to your college to see if they will accept the credits, because not every college accepts all the same credits, but it does come from an accredited college, online college, and you can transfer those credits and get a discount on the universities that you choose that are working with the company. But even if you don't want a specific degree, you can take these classes, take these courses, and just build up a skill that you want to use for a career if they have what you like, right? So I am there right now looking at a marketing business course. Here, let's see. I'm on their finance course. I'm on their marketing business course. I am also taking a psychology course. They don't have philosophy, but I am taking a psychology course there. And how do I sign in? I forgot. But yeah, they have so many courses, so many cool, like just very cool courses that you can take and change your life, and it's free. That's the best part. Like that's the part I'm recommending. That's why I'm recommending it to people. It's totally free, 100%. They will call you with an advisor to talk to you. They don't ask for money. They just want to make sure that you're settled in. And it's really, I think, something people are doing to offset the way that college has been costing for people. It's kind of a protest. You know what I mean? And I love it. Yeah, that's why I like that this is online too, because time is definitely a factor. I have more time now since I left my nannying job in November, but it is definitely something to consider. But it's online, so you can do it whenever you want. You can do it on your commute if you're like going to a day job for half an hour. The videos are like 20 minutes long, so you can do it anytime, and I love it for that. Drafting and design with the option of technology, and dropped out my last semester. Oof, last semester, that is hard. Wow. That is like a tough, like I said earlier, like if something's not working for me, maybe I'll stay for a year. But generally, if it's not working for me, I'm out. Either I take myself out, or the universe recognizes that I need to be out and something happens. So like there was this one job I had at Crumbs, and for months I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this. And I liked the job. I really, really did. It was fun, but it was exhausting. I was also going to school at the same time, and I was like, this is not sustainable, but I have to go because I need money and I don't want to take the time to look for another job. So you guys know what happened? Do you know what happened? The whole company shut down. Everybody was laid off. Like I had no choice. I was given no choice. And I feel like that was maybe like a month or two of me being like, okay, I need to find something else. And like the company is back up now. It's fine. But I guess everybody had to get out because the whole thing shut down. And we didn't know. We found out in the newspaper, actually. Design. Drafting and design. Is that like architectural design or like computer design? Art, like covers. Do you have many imps? We all have many imps. My older sister was a genius, and one of her degrees at Cambridge was neuroscience. What chance did I have? Oh, honey. listen, don't compare yourself to your relatives. Don't compare yourself to anybody. The chances you have are yours. You know what I mean? You are the only person in the world with your specific DNA. You're the only person in the world on the planet with your specific abilities and capabilities and understanding of the world, your specific vision, right? So I wouldn't, and I mean, that's obviously something easy to say, easier than actually conceptualizing and doing, but I would say work on understanding that. It's something I'm working on because, yeah, comparing myself never works. It never has. And I've always been lucky that I never really had to compare myself that much. It's not that I never did, because I'm human. I did often, but I've always been able to come back to this point of being like, oh, well, I'm actually, and it's not even a me thing. It's more everybody else is telling me that I'm weird, that I'm different, that I stand out or that I don't stand out, like depending on how I'm feeling. Like I'm very quiet, but I'm just not like the people around them. You know what I mean? And so that has made it so that I've grown up at the point where there's comparison in that I'm not like everybody else, except that's BS in my head. I feel like there are like 7 billion people in the world. There are bound to be another like 10 people, 90% like me, who look like me, who like all the things I like, who maybe have a different voice and different body type, but who are like me, right? So I'm not that different. Who have a similar personality to me. I've met so many really cool friends who I've meshed with because we have such similar personalities. But growing up, a lot of the times I was told how I'm not like the people I was around. And so that became like, for me in my head, it was like, okay, well, what's the point of trying to compare myself to people if I'm not like them? What is the point of trying to look at how I do something compared to how someone else does something if I've already been told that the way I do things is weird, that the way I do things is abnormal, or at least not like that? So why bother trying to be like that if people are already going to recognize that I'm like this regardless of whether I'm trying? And that's like, it's a weird concept to take in, I think, to just really realize that no matter how much you try to like fit somewhere, people will notice that you don't if you don't. And that's fine. I mean, I've really gotten used to that, but it has, I think, helped me a lot, especially as an adult, to separate myself from the actions of other people. And I don't want to say separate myself from other people, because I feel very strongly connected to other people. I love people. I don't like people that much. I don't really want to be surrounded by people, but I do love humanity. But I am humanity. You know what I mean? Like, we are all connected in some way. But I also know that on an individualistic level, it's very few far in between that I meet people who are on the same mental level as I am. And that's fine. You know what I mean? It just means that I can do what I'm going to do and try to be the best, do the best that I can do, be my best me, and hope people enjoy it. You know what I mean? And not have to worry about whether or not my best me is better or worse or similar or anything compared to someone else's best them. You know what I mean? That was a long kind of sermon, I'm sorry. But let's see what you guys are saying. Architecture, blueprint, and landscaping. Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you do that still? Or when you like quit, did you just like quit? Hey, Ali, how are we connected? You say that you're in a higher mental level. It's arrogant. Oh, honey, I didn't say that at any point. I said people are on a different mental level than I am. I didn't say higher or lower. Maybe you just came in and you missed everything before that, my explanation of why I explained that. But it had nothing to do with me being on a higher mental level. Like I said, I feel like all people are connected. How are we connected? Well, do you have blood in your body? Do you have organs? Do you have bones? Do you have, do you exist as a human being? Because so do I. There is our basic connection. Do you breathe oxygen? Do you exist in the world? Are you a part of a society? And if you exist, and if you're on a computer, all of those answers are yes, right? So that's how we're connected, my love. But no, I didn't say I'm on a higher mental level. I just said it's rare that I meet people who are on the same mental level as I am, who are in the same zone as I am. I like the path I was going, but I got a job offer that paid more than the job I was going to get with my degree. Well, yeah, I mean, if you like the job and you like that path and you're not so attached to it, that, you know, having a better paying job that you can like and enjoy and be happy with, then do it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are afraid of changing, you know, because we spend a lot of time doing certain projects or working on certain jobs or trying to be a certain type of person. And then something happens and we realize maybe that's not for us, but we've spent like 10 years living this life. How do we change it now? It's just hard, you know what I mean? And that it is hard, it's difficult. But if you can do it and you do, and you find yourself better off, then that is argument enough for me to say that it's a good idea. There are imps in my world, but none as actual characters. Cool, cool. I never did that job, but that's what I went to college for. I dropped out and went and started wielding in barges. Oh, that's cool. Barges like boats, right? That's cool. That's fun. Yeah. Or, well, I don't know if it's fun. I've never done welding on a barge, but it seems kind of scary and fun and kind of dangerous just in my head. Oh, thanks, Ellie. Do I read a lot of books? I don't know if I read a lot of books. I have read a lot of books. I'm a pretty slow reader. I read a few a year, or I'm trying to get at least 10 a year now, just so that I have books. Oh, hi, Dave. Hi, Puppy Dave. Hi, Dave. You're the best. I love you. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best good dog. Is he happy? Is Dave happy? Most dangerous job I ever had, but it was fun. Yeah, it sounds really dangerous, but also like an adrenaline rush. I have a friend who works on ships. I don't know exactly what he does. It might be related to what you do. I don't know, but the stories he's told me have about being like in storms and shit. Sorry, scary but exciting, and kind of makes me think of that song from The Little Mermaid, "Mysterious fathoms below." Like, what's down there? Lots of barges. Sad. What kind of books? Sweet. I love you, Dave. You're a good puppy. Take care. Hopefully I'll see you next Wednesday. We will be doing this again, probably around 8 p.m. What kind of books do I read? Well, weird ones. I don't know. My favorite book is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I love that book. It's one of the only books I've read at least 3 times. I don't really repeat read. Right now I am reading, I don't have it over here. Right now I'm reading a book called The Inner Side of the Wind, or the novel of Hero and Leander. Or if you flip it upside down, it's the novel of Hero and Leander, or The Inner Side of the Wind. Depending on which side you decide to start on, it's a really strange book. It starts on both sides and meets in the like 2 sort of separate stories meet in the middle. Take care. It's just strange. It's kind of like this stream of consciousness kind of written thing. And there's some really funny lines in it that are like about breasts. And it's like one of them mentions her mustachioed breasts. And I'm just like, why? And then one of them is like, you can see her smile and breast at the same time, and it's just like, why are you saying this? But otherwise, it's actually really intriguing, really interesting, and really strangely written. I like it a lot. I also like, it's not a science fiction. I like more like kind of fantasy, because The Picture of Dorian Gray is more of an urban fantasy. It's not really science-y at all. There's no science fiction. I also but I do like fiction. Fiction is probably the main genre I read. I really liked the Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. I read a lot of old stuff. I also read this book called Salem last year that was set in the 1700s, but written in like the 90s. That was really interesting and really well done. It felt like a book from the 1700s, so I like that a lot. I've recently started reading young adults, and it's an okay experience. There's one series that I really, really love in young adults, the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Myers. I love it so much. It's like my new favorite series after the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. And I don't really read many series. It's probably the only other series I've read besides the Vampire Chronicles. And I like it. It's a young adult, but I've also read a bunch of other young adults in the last year that I'm gonna go back to reading my old people books, I guess. I really like Octavia Butler's Kindred, which I read last year or the year before. Really, really good. So I guess I like dark fantasy and urban fantasy and magical realism more than most other genres. I like nonfiction books. Nice. Your wife is in for a treat, Theo. I also like nonfiction books. I don't have a lot in print. I keep most of them on my phone. I mean, I have a lot of witchy books on my shelf that are nonfiction. So like spell books, history books, books about midwives, books about like tarot, like books about dreams, magic, all that stuff. I have those. Then I have a couple of other nonfiction books, like the 5 Love Languages books. I have those. I have this. I have a lot of textbooks from my acting school. I don't know if those count. I do sometimes pick those up. I actually, in my newsletter, if you're interested, if anybody goes check out my website and sees my newsletter, I recommend a nonfiction and a fiction book every month on the first Friday of every month, usually if I remember. I usually remember. If I forget, I'll do it immediately after I remember. But I do give out or I don't give it out, but I recommend a fiction book and a nonfiction book. 90% of the time, they're books I've read. Once or twice, I've recommended books that were just recommended to me and I found were interesting or I was excited to read or haven't come out yet. But generally, it's a book that I have read and that I enjoyed and actually feel comfortable recommending to people. And let's see. I think that reality is the best fiction ever. That is a inherently paradoxical statement. Reality will never be fiction. There will be reality in fiction, but fiction itself means the opposite of reality. It means not reality. What you read is nonfiction, non-fake, non-imagined reality. I am working on a memoir off and on. That's awesome, DL. You should. I think memoirs are cool. I've also been considering a memoir. I feel like maybe I'm still a little bit too young to write it, but not too young to start it. Have you been working on it for a long time? You said off and on, so I'm guessing maybe it's been a couple months, couple years. Our actual society is fiction, and I'm not drunk. I did not think you were drunk, my friend. That is a fun concept. Our actual society is fiction. I think existence is what we make it. I think it's real. I think society as it is right now is based on a lot of fictions. It isn't itself a fiction, but I do, and I mean, I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you that I think you're wrong or anything. I'm just giving my thoughts, I guess. My feelings on that statement. I feel like society is based on a lot of fictions, meaning the rules that we have in place, the ideals that we set for ourselves, the goals that we tell people they need to set. Those are all based on arbitrary, made up things. You know what I mean? Like the idea of how you're supposed to dress, what you're supposed to like, any supposed to. Other than like you're not supposed to murder people, I feel like is really someone else's idea of how you're supposed to live, and like that does not necessarily represent all of us. You know what I mean? That's not feel that is like society is based on fiction. So I do like believe that. I don't think existence is fictional. I don't think the way we react to it and the way we experience it is fictional, but I do think that the ideas that have created our society were largely arbitrary and largely based on lies and mistreatments and deceit and all that stuff. I started in July, but it's a side project. I'm more focused on my Metagore series at the moment. Is it Mega Gory? I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. But my memoir is about my time as a rapper. Oh, you were a rapper? That's cool. I'd like to know more about that. That's cool. Yeah. When were you a rapper? How long? Where? Like, what was your rap name? Ali, you know the book of Aldous Huxley. He explains why society nowadays is fiction. Do you mean Brave New World? sweet. I have heard of the book, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's Brave New World, but I haven't read it yet, and maybe I should. You know, there's been a couple of books that have been recommended to me that I have not read yet because like I said, I'm very slow and I only read a few books a year, so I'm very, very selective with the books that I do read, and I tend to add books to my my TBR in my bullet journal, so that I can get to them eventually. But it's not one that I've read yet. In fact, I'm going to add it here because actually I have heard about it quite a few times, and I do think it's a good idea to add here. It's Aldous Huxley, I believe. So you guys get to watch me write a little. Brave New World. Aldous Huxley. I went by Stuford. I was in a group called the Fog Boys. Wow. Thank you, Ellie. I added it to my list because it is something that I should be reading at this point, or I should have tried out at this point. That's a lot, DL. That's crazy. I don't know why. I find it like just really interesting. Stewie, that's cute. That's funny. Hi, Stewie. Hi, Stewie. That was not a Lois impression. That was just a weird voice. Just in case you guys want to come at me for my Lois impression, I will never try that. I don't do impressions. I just make fun of myself. Let's see. I also had another book that I was supposed to put on this list that a friend of mine told me about recently, and I did not. It's in here somewhere. And I'd like to read it soon because, I don't know, because she's awesome and I want to do things for awesome people. Democracy in America by Alexis de Tocqueville, and The Willows by Algernon Blackwood, which is one of the best names I've ever heard. Algernon Blackwood. That is the perfect author name or mysterious mad scientist living in a castle name. Frankenstyle. Yeah, I said that. Thank you. I'm thanking you now. And I will check it out. Aldous Huxley, Brave New World is the right orthograph. I will check it out, my friend. Okay, guys, it has been about an hour. I talked about plotting for approximately 15 minutes of this hour and then talked about all my books, and we talked about all kinds of fun stuff, and I really enjoyed this. I will be back next Wednesday, probably around 8 p.m.-ish. That's usually, I don't really wake up mentally until it's dark outside, and then I start doing stuff around the house, and then I can sit down and do these. The name of the book that I say, Tocqueville, here. Democracy in America. She recommended Volume 2 by Alexis de Tocqueville. And The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. There you go. Yeah, like these are also like, and the person who recommended these books is very, very smart, very intelligent, very, very cool to talk to, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to see her recommendations and see how it goes. And one of those, I think The Willows is a fiction. So the month or time that I read both of those, they'll probably be recommended together in my newsletter. We'll see. But yeah. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate the support, the time, and the conversation. This was so fun. I will see you next week. Until then, go check out my website, www.vwilder@home.com. Because I'm at home. I'm V Wilder. I'm at home. And I'm almost never not at home because the outside has people. And I love people. But I don't like them. So here we are in my home. Go check that out. Check out my books. Check out all my links, which I will add in the description after this is officially uploaded. It takes like 15-20 minutes, so check for that a little bit later. Anything else? Do you guys have any last minute questions? Anything you want to say or hear or ask before I leave? Go ahead and do that. Yeah, who likes people? As a writer, I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to. People are just a mess. People are a lot. I love kids, though. I work with kids. One of my other jobs is I'm an instructor at this after school program where we play board games with like kids, and sometimes there'll be like 20 something kids in one room with like 3 or 4 instructors, and that's a lot, you guys, but it's also really fun. But it does make it clear to me how being around large groups of people, whether children or adults, it drains me a lot. So I tend to stay home in this home usually, but if I move, then we'll be there too, I guess. What? Brooklyn, what are you doing? She just started attacking a suitcase back there. There's 2 kinds of people. That's why there is heaven and hell. I mean, I guess if you believe in heaven and hell, sure. Brooklyn! I know what she's doing. She wants bathroom water because she's not happy drinking out of the fancy, electric, motorized, stainless steel fountain that I purchased for her and that I clean regularly and have a filter in and pour filtered water into. No, ma'am, that is not for her. She wants to drink out of the bathroom sink. She demands it, and she screams at some point if she doesn't get it. So, that's Brooklyn. That's my kitty. Okay, guys, I don't think you have any more questions. I am still here. I'm actually getting ready to leave. I just, I ramble. I do the rambling thing. But I'm actually getting ready to go. I was just waiting to see if you guys had any last minute questions before I leave. I'm probably going to leave when this clock says around 1:11 because I like that number. So that means you have approximately 4 minutes to ask questions. And if you don't ask questions, I'm just going to ramble for 4 minutes. And apparently rambles are good, so we are in a good place. Thank you, DL. I needed that because I actually, that's all I do. Like, even if you go back and look at my videos before, the ones that are like pre-edited and uploaded and all that stuff that aren't live, you will realize that 90% of the time I don't plan what I'm going to say. I may have had bullet points, I may have had an idea, but quite often is a lot of rambling. And that is why I stopped making those videos, because it also meant a lot of ums and uhs and pauses and stopping to think, and the things that you guys see me do like naturally, I try to cut them out in those videos to make it a little bit more professional looking. But you know what? If you don't like me at my ramble, then you don't get me at my well-written prose. You know what I mean? I ramble a lot and I never script anything. That's fine. Can you in 3 minutes resume to us how the world began? I cannot tell you how the world began in 3 minutes or otherwise, because I wasn't there, my friend. And if I was, I don't remember it. So, my bad. I can't tell you how the world began, and I don't think it's that important. Honestly, the world exists now. That's all that really matters to me. It exists now, and we got to take care of it now. We got to love it now. We got to heal it now. We got to heal each other on it and love each other on it. And that'll hopefully help it keep going until, we are randomly struck by an asteroid or meteorite. Is that the right word? Or we are somehow knocked by space debris, knocked off of our course in space, out of our orbit, and flung into the sun, or flung out into space where we all freeze to death and die. You know what I mean? Those are things that we can't control and that are very, very possible. So I think we should just take care of the earth that we have right now and take care of each other. It doesn't matter how it started. You know what? I will tell you how the planet began. The planet itself came to be due to this thing called cold accretion, which is really, really cool. It's basically like all this space debris finds this like one center of gravity, usually made of other space debris. So that's like asteroids, meteorites, I don't know, discarded satellites from 500 other planets. Who knows? But they find this center of gravity, and then they just start pummeling into it, and they just start slamming it, beating into it, and eventually it starts to like form like an oval kind of shape, and then it starts to form a circle, and then other asteroids that landed on here brought bacteria or brought living organisms bacteria, tiny living organisms that expanded, single cell organisms that expanded, and then we got, like insects and fish and people and all that fun stuff, evolution. So that's kind of how the planet came to be. Struck by an astronaut like a pool ball. Boop. How all this matter exists first. So there's this concept of the unmoved mover, which is the first being that is conceptually said to either have existed for all time or I guess just like popped up one day. And this first being inspired, like basically it's a domino effect. Its first being did something, and that made space, that made things start to appear, that created it. Its existence created time, basically. The fact that it existed creates time. But if you really think about it, matter comes generally from other matter. There's like no, we're running out of time, guys. I'm probably going to be here longer than I said I would now. There's no way to know exactly where everything comes from, but there is the idea that nothing comes from nothing. So the idea is that everything that we have now is because of something that we had a billion years ago. We don't know what that something is. We don't know what it is that created all the matter in space, that created the planets, the stars that are billions and billions and billions of years older than our planet, than Earth. We'll never know, because we are very, very limited to what we have. We are earthlings. We are animals on this little globe with no, like our ability to understand where things come from is extremely limited by the fact that we are young, like we're a blip in time, and our technology isn't there, and our mental abilities aren't there. And maybe someday humans will have evolved to the point where we can understand things at a deeper level. I do believe we'll get there. But where we are right now, we can't really even conceptualize our own galaxy. Like we can't actually really conceptualize that. So the idea of conceptualizing the universe, it's impossible. We have a known universe, but there's eons of darkness out there, of things that we just don't know. We just don't see. For all I know, it was some alien on a planet 500 million years ago who like threw out a crumpled piece of garbage, and that created cold accretion, which created Earth. I don't know. I wasn't there. None of us were, and none of us are at this point able to figure out what it was. I like how you said you wasn't going to explain it, and yet here we are explaining it. Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. It was very ambitious, and I didn't do it at all. And I said I wasn't going to try, but you know me, I'm going to I like talking about things. I really, really love thinking about these things. I love philosophy. I love questioning things, thinking about the world. I will always tell you, I have no concrete answers. These are just the way I understand things. And I like doing it. I love talking about it. Maybe next time we will have that conversation. I really love this. Now that you've asked, now I'm just like, let's keep going. But I do need to eat something and I also need to do some cleaning. You can't see the rest of my apartment, but around me is a mess. There are dishes in the sink and in the dishwasher. There is an unmade bed. There is unfolded laundry. There's a cat somewhere begging for my attention. She was. She's gone now. She's given up. So yeah, Rambles 1, Victoria 0. It's so true. Oh, Alan Watts. That's cool. I have heard of Alan Watts, and I may have listened to some YouTube videos, but I don't remember names at all. Stephen King said a tortoise threw up the universe. I like that. There is the tortoise that created the universe, or that carries the universe on its back, which is always a beautiful image. Actually, Avatar does something similar to that, which is really cool. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon, where the universe basically exists on the back of this like turtle lion thing. So yeah. Thank you, Ali. I do take good care of my skin. I do my best. You guys, I will keep talking. I will keep talking. I love you all. I really, really do. But I have to go. It's been an hour and 15 minutes since we started this video. I so appreciate this. I will be back next week for a write-in. We'll do about 3 sprints, 20 minutes each. And then after that, you guys can ask me all the questions you want. And we could talk about all the things we want to talk about. I don't feel like I'm being held hostage. Don't think that. Like, I could just cut this off and just be like, bye, peace. But I'm not going to do that because today I'm a little bit nicer than I was yesterday. I don't know. I'm not just going to hang up on you guys like I do my family. That's rude. And also, they'll never hang up if I don't do it. It's always just, goodbye, I love you. Goodbye, I love you. Okay, bye. Okay, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, Mom, you hang up. No, babe, you know I don't want to hang up. But Mom, I don't want to hang up on you either because I love you so much. But honey, I don't know how to hang up because I'm old and confused. Oh, Mom, okay, I'll hang up. Bye. Because you're here. Ali, do I know you? Like, personally? Are you trying to get my attention? You know, guys, I've been getting these like tarot readings, and they keep telling me that someone is watching me online. Someone who loves me. Is that you? Do you love me? Click. I do love you. Thank you. Okay, thank you guys so much. I am gonna go for real. I'll guys, I will talk all day. I gotta go. I have eats. I gotta clean. I got a cat. I got Sims. They just updated, and I need to fix my mods. Okay. I'm your secret lover. Sweet. It's a secret that everyone knows now. Ruined it. How dare you? I'm proud. Thank you, Ali. Thank you for loving me. I love you. I respect you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time here. I appreciate all your time here, but I genuinely need to go now. Okay, bye. Thank you guys for being here. Bye for real. I'm going to stop being my mom and say bye and actually mean it. Bye-bye. Once I figure this out. I'm trying, guys. I don't want to hang up. Please say bye. I don't want to just cut you off. That'd be rude, right? Like, what if someone's typing right now? What if someone's in the middle of typing something and then they're like, that bitch, she cut me off. I was telling her how, like, radiant her skin is and, like, how much her cat is, like, the fattest beast and I want to eat it for Thanksgiving. And she didn't even respond. I'm sorry. Bye. Oh, yes, yet. Please end. Please, my stomach is growling. Thank you.